Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor, and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Capricorn. If Capricorn is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. And so we have the 10 of discs. Has everything to do with wealth. Let's take a look at these tea leaves. Okay. So if you have not subscribed, please think about doing that. You can hit the little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out, and it is free to subscribe. Okay. Okay, so I immediately, and I'm going to come back over this way, I immediately get this feeling of going to visit, like maybe a parent or a grandparent, somebody who is maybe older. And it almost feels like every time you kind of see them in their own environment, it really hits you like, wow, they really are beginning to age, right? And I think that it's almost like a sense of, well, I feel like there is this real sense of, and I'm laughing because I think you're the same way as maybe your parent. This is something that kind of is learned maybe, but very very particular in the way that you like things done, or they like the things done, and really not willing to sway on a lot of things. So really kind of not like, you maybe want them to move closer to you, or maybe move in with you, or downsize their life a little bit, and it seems like they absolutely are not having it. They don't want to hear it at all, and kind of really just not interested in anybody's input. Okay. And I think that I feel like it's like frustrating, but you are really the same way, and almost kind of like, maybe your kids or spouse or friends or whoever, when you tell them about this, they're like, well, yeah. Oh, who does that sound like? So, I do think that there will be this visit coming. Okay, going and staying maybe at the house, and just really a feeling of like, wow, where have all these years gone? It's just, time is going by so quickly. Now, I'm also seeing that there's a TV up here. Okay, and when I look at the TV, and it looks like one of these old, box sets, and it's plugged in. Like the old ones that we used to have to get up and go turn the dial on them. I had one growing up. My great-grandmother and my grandmother lived with us, or next door to us, like all of my childhood, basically. And they had one like that. And I remember at one point they got a new TV, so I inherited that TV, and it was black and white, and it had that click, click, click dial. But it kind of reminds me of something like that. But it seems like it's really loud. The TV's up loud a lot. And I don't know why that, it just, maybe this is what it's like when you go over there. It's like kind of jarring because everything is so loud. And we have a dog up here that's kind of sitting on top of the roof up here. So I do feel like there's a sense of, at least spiritually, this domain is protected. There's like that loyal guard dog energy there. And it feels like home, right? Definitely to your family member. But I even think that when you go, you feel like, okay, this, it feels okay. But still, you're apprehensive about things. And so, I think that this is a situation where it's hard to say what to do. I mean, I have no idea in these situations. But it's not easy. As we age and as our parents age and, for me, my chosen parents, it's to get on the same page. It's not easy, to figure out what's going to work for everybody. How's everybody going to be comfortable, and that's really one of the big tasks of figuring that out. Okay, so I do see that we have, and it looks like a skull right here with the eye holes and the nose and all of that. But it also looks like, if you turn it this way a little bit, it looks like a tree. Okay, and it also looks like there are two people standing beneath the tree. So I do feel like there is a sense of a lot of people have transcended in your family, as all families do, right? We all have a lot of people who have gone on before us, but I almost feel like you look around sometimes and you think like, my goodness, it seems like as the years go by, there are less and less people I grew up with. There are less people who remember the world that we all shared. Everything has changed so much, and it's hard to imagine what it's like when pretty much everybody you've known is gone. All of your favorite people, your parents and your siblings and so on. But I do think, the meditation here is, and listen, this is the thing. I feel like, I think this is talked about in, most religions, a lot of spirituality, in the occult, in psychology, psychotherapy, our relationship with death and mortality, right? It is probably the most enduring one, or enduring one, as soon as we become aware of this sting of death, right? It's something that never leaves us, And the way the world is now, it is quite a mystery for a lot of people. They have not been around it very much, and we don't really partake in the process, of taking care of our dead and putting them to rest. So it is a mystery. And it does. I think the anxiety about it's a lot for some people. But I do think that when we have these moments where we are very aware of mortality, of the things that have gone on before us, they have, they have transitioned into other things. I think that, not in a morbid way, but I think it's really important for us to lean into really looking at these feelings, looking at, you know, things like systems of ancestor worship, communing with our ancestors, with our dead, you know, partaking in ritual and ceremony, tradition that honors them, you know, not, and it really not just thinking about it, which that's powerful as well. But I do think that there is something to, you know, going and laying flowers and saying prayers. And there's something too if you keep altars or, you know, places of remembrance in the home, having pictures around and talking about them, talking with them, sharing their stories, even with those who did not meet them, you know, keeping them alive in your heart and mind, and actively. And I think, you know, with these two people standing beneath this tree, it is that we are the patrons of our loved ones. And someday, you know, God willing, somebody else will carry our memory as well. And, you know, I am not one that puts much into the idea of having some kind of legacy or anything like that. But these are labors of love. These are, you know, these are the most we can ever be honored, right? You know, I really do believe that when we go, we go with nothing really. It doesn't matter what we've gained in our life, aside from love, those who we have loved, those moments that we have given love and helped one another. You know, and I know it's cheesy, but I guess I'm a cheesy girl, because, you know, I believe that's really the most important thing. And so, you know, we get into these times where we think about this stuff and it can almost be as though it were kind of intrusive thinking. But it, you know, we're never going to be able to hide from it. You know, and so, and let me just say, I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a doctor. I'm not, you know, I'm no kind of professional anything, aside from a tea leaf reader. But, you know, I'm not qualified to give any kind of medical advice or anything like that. But, you know, unless you are having, you know, trouble with thinking about these ideations and things like this, that's a different thing. And that's not really what I'm talking about. So if that does come up while we're, you know, we're having this kind of energy of mortality, in our lives, then please, you know, activate your support system. I haven't talked about it in a while, but I used to talk about it a lot. And this is that I believe every person should have something called a crisis plan. And this is something that I learned about through my own mental health journey, but also through recovery, which I am in recovery for substance abuse for almost 10 years now. But you have a crisis plan when you go into facilities, usually. And what this is, it's just kind of a document. And you can download like a template for it if you aren't really sure. But it is a document that you kind of just keep the phone numbers of people who are your support people you trust, kind of your emergency contacts. Also, you know, phone numbers of places that you might need to reach out to if you are feeling, you know, like a certain kind of need for your therapist, your counselor, and so on. But also, you know, you will write in these things kind of ideas of like, how will you manage feelings? And when do you know it's time for you to do a little more? You know, like maybe need to go to the ER or something like that. But I know that, you know, you hear this and you might think like, well, Lenore, I've never felt like that. You know, I would never need something like that. But, you know, my argument is hopefully you won't. It doesn't hurt to have something like this put together. But you never know what happens in life. You know, it just absolutely could come out of left field. So it's important for us to have, when you're in the thick of it, if you've ever had something big happen in your life that was, you know, maybe even traumatic, you go often into a state of shock. You don't really know exactly what to do. A lot of times this kind of, you know, autopilot thing takes over and you just kind of are doing, you know, like in a survival mode, right? Doing things that, and, you know, often when we see like people acting strange, like on the news, after something big has happened and they're so calm, or they're talking about things that aren't central to the thing that's happening, the accident or the crime or whatever, it's because they're in shock usually, you know, because your brain, it takes over, it tries to protect you. And so having something like this is important. So if you know, you don't need to know, like you're not going looking for the pieces of information you need. It's just right there. Okay. And I know that's a little bit of an aside there, but yes, I do. I think that, you know, this is a place when we have these energies, it's a place to really kind of sit with these feelings. You know, look at them, look at what they mean to you, you know. And, oh, we have Lee again. You know, it's funny because we had Lee in a reading the other day, L-E-E. So this Lee keeps coming through in my readings. And if that means something to you. Okay. So now we also have, we have the goat figure wearing the robe, okay? And this is, I like to look at this as like kind of a, well, I forgot I was doing a Capricorn. It's Capricorn. It's your power symbol. But it's related to Saturn. And I like to think of it not as the devil so much as a high priest. And so up here we also have 121, okay, as a number. And I feel like this is a place where even with, oh, and this one looks like Thoth down there. Right here, if you look at it this way, it looks like the ibis-headed Thoth. So I do think this is a place where through your contemplation, through your kind of looking at this thing head on, there is and this is where this card comes in. I do think that there is really a wealth of emotional ability here, a maturing, and in a place where it's not rumination, but it is contemplation, a place where it's not just like purposely kind of dissociating from the situation, but it is putting up, you know, boundaries where you need them, both mental and spiritual. And I feel like through this work, this is where, you know, your wealth really does come through, because you've learned so well how to kind of mitigate some of the, you know, the more destructive impulses or emotions that might come up with these things. And with those, it's like doing the science of your own life, right? Learning how to manage the elements of your life. instead of becoming super reactive, you can look at something as logically as you can, right? And really kind of navigate through the situation, with a pretty calm and thoughtful demeanor. Is this easy? No. Does it take time? Yes. Does it always work? No. But are you getting better at it? Yes. Yes, yes. And, I think through this, it is applied through all aspects of your life. And I think this is how you are able to be so involved with the work that you do. And of course, it's where you're making your money. It's where, the resources are coming in. And I feel like when your life is as symmetrical as it can be, and for Capricorn, it really is. I mean, I always think of it as like a very, it's not sterile, but it's a very even and slow moving, but precision. There's precision. And this is where you really, kind of own the show, right? This is where your performance is just like perfect. And I think this lends itself to your ability to bring that wealth into your life. Okay. So we have TO2. And we do have a little ship, a little sailing ship. So there's movement. We have 3 little birds. Okay, so we have 3 little birds. We also have the spiral, 2 eyes. One is the spiral that's on the left. So I do also feel like there is, it's kind of it's like somebody in your life trying to reconcile with you, maybe like somebody from your past, maybe like an ex, or somebody who used to be like a lover, maybe. I don't think that these were, I don't think this was like a breakup under bad circumstances, but I think it just, life kind of got in the way here. And I do feel like there is a sense of being drawn back into it, into this kind of love affair. And I think, part of it is because of the stressors. I could see you kind of really going down that rabbit hole, kind of really getting lost in it as a distraction. So I think really, if this is something that you will engage in, it's something to be tempered, right? To remember yourself through this situation, so that you don't find yourself getting kind of out there, lost in the thick of it. And I think maybe that's kind of what it was like maybe the first time around. It does feel like it is a very kind of passionate and sensual relationship, or it used to be. And maybe now you have different things going on. You might even like be married or, whatever, in an involved relationship. So it's something to really be thinking about before you jump into, and just minding, yourself, as far as, not getting too, taken out to sea with it. Okay, let's see. We have the Dreamer's deck, 40 affirmations for pursuing your dreams. And I'm going to go ahead and we'll flip through here. and stop where it feels right. It says, I know that worrying only blinds me from the beauty that is all around me. I am not stressing. I am not stressing. Good. No stress about that. Okay, Capricorn, I'm going to tell you I love you because I do. And I thank you so much for spending this time with me. It's always such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you. If you would be so kind as to like the video, it really does help the channel so much. And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. And if you, and it's free to subscribe. And if you'd like to leave a comment, please do. I'd love to hear from you. I really enjoy the comments so much. I actually am like just so humbled by them that anybody would take the time to you know, share and relate with myself and others, and you know, and leave lovely comments and things. It really, it's always surprising. I mean, even it really is every day. I'm like, wow, this is amazing. So I do love hearing from you all. And also, I just want to bring up, before I started this reading, I forgot to mention it. I just had this like vision of a dragonfly. And so if that relates to you in any way, it really was coming through as something that wanted to be seen. And so maybe you have, I almost wonder if you have like a dragonfly thing in your window. Maybe like or like a glass dragonfly or something that reflects light. I don't know. So anyways, that I wanted to mention it in the middle somewhere, but I forgot. So if you're still listening, you know. All right, Capricorn, thank you so much. I love you. Take care of yourself, and we'll talk in just a few days.